What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. This is Hurricane Earl. Hurricane hunters are flying day in and day out, ladies and gentlemen. And we have the latest information from the latest advisory right here. It is currently an 85-mile-per-hour hurricane, according to NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft. They are still strengthening right now. It was at 80 miles per hour last video. It has strengthened to about 85 miles per hour. It is still expected to strengthen into a major hurricane in the next 48 hours. Expected by Thursday, actually. By Thursday night, it'll be a Category 3. And then by Friday, it's expected to become a Category 4 hurricane, according to the National Hurricane Center. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. If it does reach major hurricane status, we are issuing a code orange. A code orange on the Pat's Path Predictor channel, it means there is a major hurricane out to sea that is not expected to make landfall in the next 5 days. There is an arguable case where I could issue a code yellow because Bermuda is going to be impacted by this hurricane, but I'm not issuing it because A, they're expected tropical storm force winds and not hurricane force winds, and B, it is not expected to make landfall at this particular time. So that's why we're not issuing the code yellow on Pat's Path Predictor channel. So that's pretty much what we're looking at right there. The minimum central pressure is down to 978 millibars, which is considerably low for a Category 1 hurricane, but as the pressure falls, the winds will always catch up with it. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. We're going to go ahead and go over the tracks and intensity of this. Track miles for the next 3 days, pretty much in agreement. First day or so, it moves pretty decently. Then it starts speeding up in between 24 and 48 hours. Then it gets really fast after in 3 days right there, and then it kind of splits off all over the place according to the miles right there. Intensity models are also interesting. We're having a couple of models here at Category 4 strength. The NHC has a Category 4 hurricane by Friday officially. The majority of the models keep it at Category 3 strength. I think, personally, my estimate, the winds are going to be between 120 and 140 miles per hour. I think it's a good estimate, considering all that we're looking at. And considering another thing, the wind shear in this particular area has plummeted significantly. We were looking at 30 to 40 knots of wind shear. That's been cut in half to 15 to 20 knots. So this thing's going to have a much easier time developing. So, yeah, it's definitely being helped by the low wind shear from the south. So definitely an interesting scenario we're taking a look at. Still over very, very warm waters, over 29 degrees Celsius in many areas, about 84, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has plenty of room to grow right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're going to go ahead and do some model runs real quickly. We have the HMON, we have the HWRF, and we have the GFS. We're going to start with the HMON right here. The HMON model run kind of has it basically where it is now. It's at 978 at 10 o'clock right there. It starts really ramping up in intensity, potentially up to Category 2 status by tonight, and then it continues to develop, organize. The pressure eventually bottoms out around 940 millibars right there, as potentially a Category 4 hurricane according to the HMON, with max winds at 148 knots or about 170 miles per hour in the 850 millibar area. So that's something we're going to need to keep an eye on. After this, it starts stagnating and weakening and expanding in size as it continues to move through the subtropical Atlantic, and then it kind of starts dissipating right there. Next model run we're going to be taking a look at is the GFS, and it's kind of a similar trend right there, except it has it all. Except it kind of had it as a 979 millibar. We're already ahead of schedule when it comes to this, so yeah, we'll have to continue to keep an eye on this. It makes a close pass to Bermuda, bringing tropical storm force winds, continues to intensify, bottoms out around 951 millibars, then it starts rapidly weakening as it continues to move into the subtropical Atlantic right there. So that's pretty much the last we'll hear of that. The HWRF model is interesting because generally it's the most aggressive of the models, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be about the same as the HMON, if not weaker at this point, which is quite interesting considering all that the HWRF has really done over the while. The HWRF has this moving, has it making a close pass towards Bermuda, bringing tropical storm force winds, and then it kind of stagnates around 950 millibars, and then it starts slowly weakening as time continues to progress. So that's a pretty interesting scenario we have right there for Earl. Also, we're going to go ahead and talk about what is now Invest 95L. This is it right here in the Eastern Atlantic right there. We have the latest advisory from the NHC when it comes to that. An area of low pressure located several hundred miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development of the system over the next couple of days, and a tropical depression could form over this period while it moves westward to west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour. After that time, the upper level winds are forecast to become less conducive for development. Yeah, as you can take a look, the wind shear after a certain point gets like 50 knots and all that. So where the core of it is, like where the low pressure system it is now, it's in weak to moderate shear, but we're looking at 50 knots of wind shear, and that continues through much of the Atlantic right there. So an interesting situation we're taking a look at to be for sure. Could a tropical depression develop when it comes to this? Yes, it can. It just needs to continue to organize. It needs to continue to develop. It definitely has a good shot at doing that. It has a 60% chance of formation, which is more than likely at this point. So we're going to have to pay attention to it. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out. It helps me make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. We are so close to 1,400 subscribers, and every subscription counts. It will be much appreciated. But with that being said, have a wonderful day. Also follow me on Twitter, and stay safe.